Good morning, America. I'm Carrie Freeman. This is My Left Ear, and it's Monday, April 26th, video 35. This is called Growing Intuition. Before I get into it, I just want to introduce myself. My Left Ear, Carrie Freeman, and it's called My Left Ear because I get a lot of intuition and messages through my left ear. Normally, this site it does a lot of political commentary. I do a lot of psychic political commentary here, but I vary because I have a varied background. And I noticed when I've done videos on hypnotherapy, writing, my book, Good Evidence, all these other things, I get a lot of interest, but I get less traffic. Isn't that fascinating? So I want to try to do both because I can see what people like. Today, we're going to focus on growing intuition. And what do? I'm a change agent. I do psychic coaching, which you can look up video 34. I do therapeutic hypnosis, and I coach writers because I have a big creative background and I've written a couple of books. So now we're going to get started, and I'm going to do a couple of little announcements here. I don't know about you, but I always need a deep breath. Marie from Marie's Table and a lovely tarot reader, Ganga, that I just met, we did a live political triad last Wednesday, April 23rd. So if you're interested, you might want to look that up. We got a lot of positive feedbacks. There was something about our chemistry together that just kind of worked. And we had a lot of fun. But despite the fun, we shared a lot of political predictions. So you might want to go over there and check. People really liked it. And yes, we are going to do it again. We're definitely going to do it again. So that's Ganga and Marie. Now, this is political, and it's just an announcement because it's so wonderful. I'm just going to read it to you. Newark, New Jersey, police officers did not fire a single shot during the calendar year 2020. What? I mean, really, is that not impressive? And they did not pay a single dime to settle a police brutality case. It never happened. It's never happened in their history. So their crime is dropping on top of it. This is the new standard. This is the role model. Let us try to achieve what Newark Police Department achieved. And then one political prediction today is a little Twinkie for you, is that my left ear told me Liz Cheney is going to make a bid in 2024. And it keeps coming. So keep an eye out for that. Now we're going to go on to the purpose of this video, which is brain strengthening for your intuition. And I'm going to share with you some common sense suggestions for growing your intuition. But I also have some wacky techniques, and they're easy and they're fun. These are techniques I came up with myself, and they've really helped me. So just listen, enjoy, take what you want. So the first thing is a mindfulness meditation practice, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Mindfulness meditation is completely different than a Calm app on your phone. Calm talks to you, tells you things. No, mindful meditation is brain training. Ideally, you're focusing on your breath. Your mind wanders off to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, the plumber is coming, and you bring it back to your breath. That action strengthens your brain, strengthens your intuition. And it's not necessarily an easy practice because you have to sit down. And what convinced me is that I heard the Dalai Lama, who's been practicing mindfulness for over 60 years, say that it's very difficult. So when I heard the Dalai Lama say it's very difficult, I went, okay, if it's difficult for the Dalai Lama after 60 years, then I'm going to do it because he's a convincer. Now, when you do this practice, your brain begins to tell you stuff. And I'm going to share with you something something that I heard many years ago before I went into this work, before I understood any of this. I was writing, and I'm still writing, but I would have a lot of writer's block, and I wondered where that creativity came from. So I saw an ad. UCLA had a one-day class called Zen and the Art of Creativity. And I went, well, that's for me. So I attended. It was fascinating. And one of the professors, who is a Zen Buddhist, did the most wonderful explanation. And even with my education, even with my hypnotherapy training, this is the best one I ever heard. And I kind of named it. I call it Quieting Mr. Yappy. Mr. Yappy is not a friend of meditation. So he explained this. We have two parts to our brain. We have a busy, active, thinking, talking, busy, that's Mr. Yappy, right? Then we have this other side of our brain. It is spiritual, it is quiet, it is creative, and it is intuitive. But the quiet part doesn't get expression unless we bring down Mr. Yappy. So when you sit down to do mindful meditation, well, it is kind of medication, even if you have a difficult time with it, it slows down Mr. Yappy. And when Mr. Yappy slows down, this intuitive periscope comes up from the submarine, says, oh my God, there's the sun, there's fresh air, there's the water, there's an island, gets exercise and becomes more powerful. So when the meditation is over, even if it's 10 or 12 minutes, this intuitive part is stronger. And the more you do it, the stronger it gets. So no prepackaged meditations. You can do them, but don't do them to build your intuition. Your brain needs the exercise and the discipline. All right, so now here we go. I recommend that you buy some runes in the little book by Ralph Blum, if you're really motivated, and you play with the runes and you play with the tarot on your own. Maybe ask one question. I don't know what the question would be. Just one. Is blah, 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 blah. Am I going to hear from blah, blah, blah? Am I going to get a call back for the job? Am I going to get accepted into this school? Is my husband's surgery going to come out well? And you throw a rune and you start playing and practicing. You get really familiar with the runes. You get really familiar with the tarot. Okay? Now, as you know, I'm not a tarot reader, but I'm pretty darn familiar with the tarot just from watching. And I have a tarot deck. So next one, piece of advice, evidence. Now, I think you've all looked at my good evidence video. If you haven't, go back and look at it. It's titled Good Evidence. Track all your synchronicities. Everybody has synchronicities. Everybody has coincidences, hunches. If you have a hunch, if you have a private prediction, but you're afraid of being wrong, write it down. It grows, it reinforces your intuition. So, but every time you have that coincidence, that's good evidence. Every time you think, I wonder what happened to Paul, and Paul calls you or emails you or Mary, you've got evidence. You track that, it makes it grow. It's like a convincer for your subconscious mind. Oh, we did that. We could probably do that again. Now, the next one is play guessing games. Play guessing games watching the TV. Here's what I mean. I have watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's actually very entertaining. And the higher up you go with the questions, the more difficult the questions become. But they give you 4 options. That's the game. And I've seen it when those options are confusing and go, I don't know. Take a guess. You're sitting alone. You can't be wrong in front of somebody. Just go, okay, I'm drawn to number 3. And you'll wait and see. That exercises the brain. Now, I know Jeopardy really isn't like a guessing game, but it really makes your brain work very fast. I'm not very good at it, but I watch it just to take these guesses, blah, 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 that. Pyramid. Watch awards shows. We just had the Oscars, a version of the Oscars last night. It was different because of COVID. And what I did, and I still do, I didn't do it last night because I just wasn't that inspired this year. But what I used to do is I would sit and watch the award shows, and then they go, and the envelope, please, and I would guess. I would just guess what's on the envelope. I go, blah, blah. And you'll surprise yourself. I was right a lot of the time. But it builds that listening. It builds that immediate paying attention to a hit, okay? Watch psychic readers. Watch people who do great tarot, Linda G, Ganga, all kinds of people. Tarot Down Under. I love Marianne from Revealing Light. There's a lot to learn. But what you can do is the minute a card comes up, and I did this with a lot before I opened my own YouTube, and I would watch Linda G. I would just guess, oh, that means blah, blah. I would guess at the cards, and then she'd slap the card down, or another reader would slap it, and I'd be correct. Watch the readers. Guess before they say what the card is. And here's a fun one. Watch Dateline NBC. Watch 48 Hours. Watch 2020. Guess who's lying. Guess who's innocent. Guess who's guilty. Because you really, once you plug in and you watch something like, you probably remember Scott Peterson, who killed his pregnant wife, Lacey Peterson, quite a long time ago. I would watch Scott Peterson before I did readings, and I'd watch his eyes, I'd watch his face, I'd watch the way he'd look up. I have a little bit of NLP training, so I go, oh, he's trying to remember his story, but I called it. And you will too. It's pretty interesting to really watch people's faces and eyes when they're lying or when they're telling the truth. So guess who's guilty on those TV shows? Now, last week I talked about this wonderful little book by Lee Coit called Listening, and plenty of you wrote me and said that you bought the book and you liked it. And I have two others. One was written quite a while ago. I love the title, Practical Intuition, written by Laura Day. And I used to know Laura Day really, really well. When I first started my practice, I was up at the Esalen Institute visiting one of her seminars. When she found out that I was a hypnotherapist, she brought me into the seminar. And then I went to New York to visit her invitation, and she fixed me up with a lot of great women from Harvard Business School. And I did a lot of readings and had a wonderful time. And it was an incredible entry into the world of hypnotherapy. And so Laura Day. And there is a book called Silent Power by Stuart Wilde. And it's another small, little, inexpensive book, Silent Power by Stuart Wilde. So here we go, people. I shared this. I have a whole bunch to do today. My computer's going nuts. It keeps blowing up my font, so I apologize that I keep looking down. I have more than 3 quotes for you today because they're all pretty fast. And I think what I'll do is I will copy them and I will paste them into the community. So you can just read them slower, you can copy them yourselves. So don't worry about, oh, would she repeat that? I will put them in the community. All of them are on intuition, and they're all good. So the first 3 are by our friend, Oprah Winfrey. Here she says, if you let it, the noise of the world would drown out the voice of God, which is your intuition. Number 2, by Oprah. When the universe compels me toward the best path to take, it never leaves me with maybe, should I, or even perhaps. I always know for sure when it's telling me to proceed because everything inside me rises up to reverberate yes. Oprah. The third one, very simple, from Oprah. Trust your instincts. Intuition doesn't lie. So there you go. Now there's three more by three people that are geniuses. So here's number one by Steve Jobs. Intuition is a very powerful thing, more powerful than intellect, in my opinion. I'm just going to tell you a little side story about Steve Jobs. It's really fun. I have a friend who is a graphic designer, and she has designed book covers for me, cards, all kinds of things. I can't even tell you how much she's done. She's quite brilliant. And one day, after we knew each other for a while, she starts telling me about her mother's home where she grew up. And she said that their garage was the garage that Steve Jobs created Apple. I said, are you kidding me? And she said, oh, no, I used to go out into the garage and talk with them. They were like hippie boys. I can't remember the other person who was partners at that time with Steve Jobs. I'm sorry. Kind of a chunky guy. I think you know who I'm talking. Anyway, I just said I can't believe that was your garage. Anyway, here's the second one. This is the second quote by Bill Gates. He just said, often you have to rely on intuition. Often you have to rely on intuition. So strengthen it. And the last one by Albert Einstein. He said, the only real valuable thing is intuition. There you go. I couldn't pick. I loved all these quotes. So you got the bonuses today. All right. I'll talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got value. Make peace. Make memories. I want to share something about that phrase. I came up with it. It's mine. I went through a period of time where a lot of people in my life passed away under all kinds of different circumstances. It was like one after another, after another, after another. It was overwhelming. And I came to learn that it's much easier to accept people passing if we make sure to make peace with them and we make sure to make some good memories. And that's where that comes from. It's a reminder. Make peace, make good memories. Okay, see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye, America.